In this video, I'm going to introduce you on how to draw the legs. And this is a few samples that I've been working on. Here are a few more. And all I can tell you is that when I am drawing the human figure, I try to use a searching line. Not a line that knows everything already, but that seeks out the answer. A couple of things to know about the legs is that obviously they start at the hips, and but they don't come straight down. They come in. So our bones do not drop in a straight line down from the hips. And then I need you to know that if this is the hip girdle right here, this is the hip girdle. And here's your basic hip. Here's your groin area. And so the femur is plugging in right here, the large trochanter. And so the leg, and then the femur comes down. And the femur is the longest bone in the human body. And then we get the tibia and the fibula that are not quite as long, but they're still really long. And together, those are the longest bones in the body, totally. And then when you get to the ankles, we have these little bumps, on your ankle, those little bony things that stick out. They're called the malleoli. And you have the inner malleoli and the outer malleoli. And they're not directly across from each other. The inner malleoli are higher than the outer. And then you get the foot. And we shall learn how to draw the foot in another video. So if you ever forget which malleoli is higher than the other, remember you've got a cheat sheet. Just look at your own ankles and you'll see right away. And those are the things that you need to know about the basic architecture of the legs. So I'm going to give that an eraser now. The eraser treatment. There we go. And let's say that you're starting to draw the legs. You're probably going to want to start with the torso. And, I think it's a good idea to start with your central axis and a horizontal line or diagonal that represents the shoulder girdle, and a horizontal or diagonal line that represents the hips. And even though we're not drawing the arms yet, I always like to indicate the deltoids, because it is the deltoid muscle that defines the shoulders. And it gives definition and shape and form, I should say, to the shoulders, just as the glutes give definition to the hips. If you wanted to start the torso using a different strategy, ones that we've learned in the classroom include, for example, using blocks. So our body in a box, where the rib cage occupies the top half, then you've got the abdominal area occupying the third quarter, and then you've got the hips, the hip girdle occupying the lower quarter. And of course this can turn into a wedge if the body is bent sideways. And this would become compressed, that would be stretched out. And that's what's happening here actually. This is compressed and this is stretched out. The other strategy that I've taught you in this class is basically the same idea as the body in a box, but a little simplified. So I just kind of use a little shield shape to represent the shoulders and the waist. And then you've got the deltoid, the obliques, that start behind the rib cage, come around, and then you've got the hips. So again, it's 1/2, a quarter, and a quarter. But I want to start with this situation over here. And the shoulders, by the way, need to be wider than the hips, because they just are. So our bodies are shaped like that. And I'm going to, whether I'm starting from the front or the back, I just draw great big circles that represent the top of the legs, the place where, this is the place where the greater trochanter of the femur plugs into the pelvis. And then from there, I mean, the legs could be going in any direction. And I use what I call a searching line to find out where exactly the leg is going. And they're egg-shaped, and they're always going to be wider on one side and narrower as I finish. And I just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, till it feels right. So I'm really drawing based on perception, not on a pre-established formula. When the length of the upper leg matches what I am seeing, I'm just going to draw the kneecap. It's going to be another circle. Now the kneecap, I want you to notice that half of it is going to be belonging to the upper leg. The other part of it is going to belong to the lower leg. Now, when we draw the lower leg, it is very special because it's got the upper half of it composed of the gastrocnemius muscle, which is spelled very funny. Gastrocnemius. Gastroc. There you go. Kind of like Klingon. And the lower half is composed of a tendon which starts connected to the gastrocnemius muscle, and then it drops down and connects to the bones of the foot, so that the upper half of the lower leg has muscle that can be slender or bulge out, depending if it is flexed or extended. But the lower half of the leg, those tendons are not going to be expanding or contracting, so they're not really going to change shape. And it is right here at the ankle that most people are going to make a mistake. They're going to make it too long, and then they get a lower leg that is as long as the femur, and that's not possible. And so if you want to just draw a basic foot, I kind of do my same searching line, and then I find my little toesy woesies. And that's kind of a funny foot there. Another thing about the knee is that the knee is going to, in this case, I started drawing a leg that was fully frontal, and then I ended up making it bent. So the kneecap is actually pointing in that direction. And it's a funny leg. I don't like it very much. I erase it. Love my eraser. Anyway, so let's say that I'm drawing a standing leg. See, what I like about using a searching line is that if I make something too short, I can just keep going with my egg shapes until I find exactly where it belongs. And it's really easy to make things larger or smaller. And there we go. I want you to notice when you are looking at the model whether the kneecap is to one side or whether it's in the front. And the kneecap is kind of like the direction in which the eyes are looking. The leg will be facing the direction in which the kneecap is facing. So you do want, if you have the leg facing, if you have the leg rotated outward, the kneecap is going to go on the side. There we go. That's a better leg. And then let's see, inner malleoli here. I cannot see the other malleoli. Okay, there we go. Give it a try.